Welcome to the Tinker Bench. This bench has actually appeared in a couple videos over the last 2 years, but I've never actually introduced it because it wasn't outfit for things yet. Now it kind of sort of is. It's still going through its changes, but overall, this is the bench that I do all my random soldering experiments and guitar maintenance stuff. And today is the day that I have kind of been not wanting to do because it's kind of a big step. And that is the title of the video. This guitar, which you've already seen. In fact, I had it on this bench in its other version. It's been reworked a bit since that video. I think there's a video about another guitar coming out soon too, but I figured I should do part 2 for this boy here. Now basically, the project today, which is something I've been avoiding for a while, is to actually completely disassemble this guitar. And then once I have it disassembled, I can start slowly chipping away at the issues that seem to exist with it. So I have this magnetic parts tray here, which is full of a bunch of random crap, which I'm just going to throw over into that storage box because it needs to get sorted through anyway. Welcome to my life. This is basically all my life is every single day. I've already loosened the strings enough so the neck wasn't being bent by string tension anymore. And I wanted to let it kind of settle overnight because tomorrow I'm going out on an errand run and I'm probably going to pick up a new pack of strings that will be reserved for this guitar. And as much as people usually snip their strings, I do a lot of weird instrument experiments, not necessarily with instruments that I have, but sometimes I like to make instruments. And they're very rough. And I need some for now strings to put onto said instruments. And so I like to keep old strings so I don't have to buy new strings to kind of test these experiments out. Especially since most of the time those instruments don't really end up working out for me, and I got to take the strings off and then I wrap the strings up and throw them in a box, and considering how long they sit in that box, they'll end up becoming as old as these strings anyway, and that's just a waste of good strings. I actually got all the strings out very easily. Usually with these cheaper instruments, the ball ends get stuck in there and you have to jam a screwdriver in, one of these little tiny screwdrivers in from the front to push the ball end out. But these just came out nice and quickly, so that's good. So the next step is for me to loosen the tension on the bridge springs. In fact, I should probably crack my soldering iron out to remove that bead of solder. So I'm going to scooch this guitar over, set that there. This is kind of the worst soldering iron holding thing ever. It likes to shift, so I'm actually going to pinch the wire down with a capo so it's less likely to move. Now this is very old solder, so I'm probably going to have to add some new solder to it just to get it to get past the corrosion that's on the outside. In fact, perhaps I don't need the new solder if I can just scrape that. Plus I want this so my hands aren't anywhere near hot wires. So first thing I'm going to do, it turns out I might actually need the new solder. A little bit of new solder, which seems to have started to penetrate. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, so these screws can go in the magnetic parts tray so they don't get lost. I mean, this claw is fine. I mean, the springs are very high tension, which is fine. I might replace them with better springs at a later point. maybe I will literally just change everything about it and turn it into the coolest guitar in my collection. This is also going to take some time, but I'm taking out these screws holding it to the body, which are also the pivot points for using the whammy bar. Yeah, there we go. These screws are a little easier to take out because I did actually take them out once already. The other ones, however, I only slightly adjusted the screws, so they were very much kind of glued in place from age. Perhaps I'll actually be able to see more of whether this is actual wood. I know for a fact that it's not actual flamed maple. It's definitely a photo finish. But based on the way it looks, I'm pretty sure it's MDF because it looks very smooth and grainless. But once I take a much deeper look at it, it'll be a lot easier to tell. By the way, if you're curious, I will take a short little video for you. Here you go. This is a close-up of the guitar. It's very full of fingerprints right now, but if you look deep inside this cavity, you can see it is very smooth, and I'm pretty sure there ain't wood grain, so it's probably 100% MDF. But yeah, there's a little close-up video of this. Yeah, I'll be pulling this camera out more often throughout this process. So don't worry, I will try to remember to get more close-ups for you. I'm willing to bet that this pickup came from the exact same plant. Actually, maybe not. They didn't even use the little post holes there. At least it doesn't look like it. Oh, that was crunchy, dude. That wasn't even crunchy from the screw. That was the neck shifting. Damn. Oh man, every time I undo some part of it, it gets extra crunchy. That does not bode well for me. Oh boy. Okay. This again. That GWL guitar, I think I talked about it at some point. It also had the neck plate on weirdly wrong. Okay, is it just me? Oh, that neck plate was definitely on. Not straight at all. Oh my gosh, how did I not notice how crooked that was? That's far more obvious, and it's definitely not centered either. Is this what an offset neck looks like? Now, because I'm a completionist here, I'm going to take off the strap knobs as well. I was expecting, because it's a cheap guitar, they wouldn't have these little felt washers. They would just skip past that detail, but they actually did that. So I say that, and then they don't have one on this one. They did half the job, I guess. There we go. We have a completely disassembled body. Oh my gosh. This might actually be a wood guitar. That's chip out. Those are actual wood fibers. Let me get the camera. Color me very surprised, because those are actual fibers of wood. Camera, can you frickin' focus? Oh my gosh, I'm turning manual focus on. Jesus. So, this guitar is actually made out of wood. So why the fake flame? Just put a thin veneer of maple on top. Unless that's what they did. Oh my god. This might actually be a decent quality body. I mean, it's not going to be like frickin' walnut or maple or whatever, but like, come on, give them some credit for a $150 guitar. It's actually made out of wood. And this was made a long time ago. Like, I'm not joshing when I say I'm actually kind of impressed that this is made out of wood. Okay, it's not from the neck. I was checking to see if maybe those peeled off the neck. Holy crap! Is that a serial number? It is! Oh! Perfect timing for this thing here. I have a tablet mounted on an arm right here, which I'm probably vibrating the hell out of the microphone. I'm so sorry. But I put it here so I could do things like this. Oh my god, I thought... Okay, I'm trying to type like it's my Android keyboard. Anyways, that's enough of that. This is taken apart as much as I need to take it apart. And now it's a matter of this whole situation. There's like actually a tube on the wires. I guess that's so that because they're ground wires or shields or whatever, so they don't connect with anything. Oh, your battery is running. Oh, damn. Wait, hold up a minute. My tablet was on without being plugged in? When did your battery start working again? Today is full of surprises. Now, I know I could desolder this, but I'm just going to snip the solder bead off. And then, boom, now they're all separate. And that just pinged off like everything in the house. Also, I apologize to anybody who's sitting here watching me do stuff like this, but I figured I would put together a video that's like almost real time in a way, that shows you all the steps of doing things like this, so that in the future, if you decide you want to try and do stuff like this, you'll have some kind of a reference. Don't take things apart as fast as I'm taking apart things. I've done this many times, so I have a lot of experience with this. If it's your first time taking apart a guitar, do not rush it like I am. Even if it's a cheap one, it's good to take things slow. Things go wrong a lot less when you take things slow. I gotta say, even when the tips are new, the heat transfer through these things is not great. I need a proper soldering iron at some point. This is the best cheap one that I've ever had. But I've only had like 3, including this one, and the other 2 were from dollar stores. I don't recommend dollar store soldering irons. This one was like 24 bucks, which, you know, was the most I've ever spent on a soldering iron, but it was well worth it. It is nice. The tips it came with had perfect heat transfer, but all the tips that I've been buying to replace the ones that just get worn out. Can you... You're like on still, right? I think I might need new solder for this part. And I believe that is all the soldering left to do. And because this is freshly hot and I'm not going to need it again, I'm going to clamp its wire in place with a capo. Those are very on there. But neck plates seem to work very well. And they're very gentle. You just put the corner under and loosens it up a bit. There we go. One more. This one I'm pretty sure I've taken off already. I mean, they're cheap knobs. I might replace them with something else in the future. But oh my lord. You can see just how much it's aged. Damn. It used to be very white. I kind of like the sort of aged white look, but damn, that is quite a difference. Oh. What the heck? Was there a missing screw on this single coil the whole time? How did I not notice that? Well, it's a good thing I have a whole bunch of spare ones. Plus, I may very well buy some new pickups for this. I've been looking at a set of Wilkinsons, but I've also been looking at a set of Fleurs. I think that's how you pronounce that. Usually, I see pickups that have like a fabric tape or like this black electrical tape that's like almost like an adhesive plastic. This is copper tape. The only issue I see with this copper tape... Oh! The wire is in there. It is shielded. Dude, that's kind of insane. I'm sure there's other, like, guitar YouTubers and luthiers and stuff that have seen similar things, but I have never seen a pickup wrapped with copper tape on the outside for shielding purposes. Okay. So if I do reuse these pots, which I may or may not, this one was an issue. This one is very gross. I mean, these two seem to be fine. The volume one is definitely scratchy, and it jumps out of full position and seems to respond by dropping the volume like 30%. But there we go. We've completely disassembled this guitar, desoldered absolutely everything. And now I'm just peeling off the last of this like plastic wrap that would have been on this pick guard. Alright, so to close off this very long disassembly video, which is technically part 2 of this Ashbury SaiKai series, I'm going to finish disassembling it completely by taking the tuners off. And I'm probably going to keep the original frets because they look pretty good. I'm fairly impressed by this guitar, honestly. These tuners may not be like the best of quality tuners in the world, but they're like actual tuners. They're not those cheap, kind of barely working open gear ones. I mean, there are open gear ones that are good, but yeah, there's also a name. But regardless, the wiring was pretty clean. The pickups don't visually look all that cheap. I mean, the back plate on this humbucker is very dirty and has like gunk all over it, so they didn't clean up the excess wax from wax potting it. And there was wax coming out of the screw hole, so they are potted. And like, a lot of it is wood. I'm surprised and honestly a little bit impressed. I mean, these are definitely cheap tuners, but they feel pretty good. And honestly, I have my doubts that the person I bought this from ever like changed anything about it. I'm sure they like intonated it or whatever, but I kind of doubt they went and put like high-end pickups in it, or you know, changed the pots. Those recordings from the benchtop video that I did last time about this guitar was completely raw. I didn't put effects or EQ on it. I literally just turned the volume up on the track so they were all evenly the same volume as like my voice and stuff. So I do have something of a reference. You know, if I could find the person who took the guitar off the curb back when I originally got rid of it, and I could like buy it from them and actually have my guitar back, that would be incredible. And I know for most people they'd say that's kind of stupid to have like two of the exact same guitar, especially one that's this cheap. But for me, it'd be really cool to actually have my guitar back and then keep that one completely original and change nothing about it. Just give it a setup and maybe get some fretwork done on it and have like a bit of a real comparison of what my guitar sounded like by default and then what it could be by it being turned into this. Also, what the hell? Did someone put tape or something inside the tuning machine? Why? But for now, that is a complete disassembly of the Ashbury insert model number here. And for those of you who don't know, I put it in the description of the last video. SaiKai roughly translates from Japanese to reunion, or to meet again, or another meeting. There's probably many different ways to word that, but it's basically reunion. And it felt like a fitting name. Now, it's up to me to clean this guitar, do some fretwork, and really get it going, and that will be in another video, so keep an eye out for that. Anyways, I've been Nair Virka. This has been the Virka scale. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. I totally forgot to get more close-ups.